gentlemen, we can rebuild him. We have the technology.
This has to be one of the most requested plugins by users of Slate Digital, and frankly, for many people the hope was lost. But this Black Friday, out of nowhere, Slate Digital released the FGX2, an upgrade of the now old FGX, with a more modern workflow and a new algorithm that can do pretty nice stuff. Not only that, they also launched a new harmonic exciter for the virtual mix rack that I'm also going to check on this video. Slate Digital advertised their products with a lot of hype, and I'm here to ask if the quality of the plugins really meets that hype. So if you want to know if these new additions to the All Access Pass are actually good, stay tuned because I will review them. So without further ado, let's go! Let's start with something more simple, and that is the new module for the virtual mix rack, which is called the FG-36A, and it's based on a classic harmonic exciter, the A36. But before we go deep on this, if you like this review, subscribe to the channel and give the video a like, and also consider subscribing to my Patreon so you can get early access to my videos and free stuff like presets and sample packs. Okay, so the FG-36A. As I said, this is a harmonic exciter that's focused on the high frequencies. At least that's what it says right here. It will add sparkle to your top end. The only way to check if this is good is to test it. We only have one button, and frankly I thought it was 3, but it's just a bypass button, the amount or intensity of the harmonic exciting, and the output level. Pretty simple to use, pretty basic, but let's see how good it sounds. This is a vocal without the FG-36A.
I'm lost without you, can't feel the same.
It sounded good, but I think it will benefit to have a little bit more of air or sparkle, as this module is saying. So let's activate this and let's listen if it's doing something even without the intensity crank up.
I'm lost without you, can't feel the same. Thunder's about to disintegrate my fate.
I don't know if my ears are tricking me or not, but I feel something is changing a little bit. But if any of you have something like Plugin Doctor, please with the intensity all the way down, so we can know for sure if it's affecting the sound or not. But let's start adding some intensity so we add that sparkle that I want to add to this vocal.
I'm lost without you, can't feel the same. Thunder's about to disintegrate my fate.
I put it on the maximum so we can concentrate on how this is affecting the sound, and it's not only adding some air but of course harmonic content with a little bit of saturation that is bringing up nice things on the top end, but also is bringing up a little bit of the mouth sounds and the S's.
I'm lost without you, can't feel the same.
So, of course, the idea is to put the intensity a little bit less, but of course it depends on the context. I will suggest that in some cases you may want to use something like the de-esser after the FG-36A, but that's up to you.
I'm lost without you, can't feel the same. Thunder's about to disintegrate my fate.
So, do I like the FG-36A? Yes, I like it. It's nothing groundbreaking, of course, it's a harmonic exciter for the top end, but it's a good addition, especially if you consider that this is inside the virtual mix rack, so you can make a chain with different plugins that add different color and whatnot. So, we are going to use this limiter for the same song. We have the initial features and I have my mastering chain right here, so this is the last step for my mastering process. But before we start, let's look at what we have here. We have two modules, a compressor that controls the dynamics so the limiter doesn't work too much, and then we have the limiter with a lot of added features. For example, you can put more low end punch and high frequency transients, and you can choose different modes on how the limiter reacts to the signals. And we also have a nice way of visualize everything, especially you can change the LUFS to RMS, the peak to peak, and the dynamics to crest factor. You can put your own targets of loudness, and you can add needle meters or horizontal meters. But with this, it's enough for me. Following the design of the MOTT, you can put this in an advanced mode, which adds more features, for example, sidechaining for the detection circuit of the compressor, mid-side link, gain reduction width, and controls for the transient, the drive, and the balance of the limiter. But enough talking, let's listen how it sounds. And for that, I'm going to start with the compressor.
I'm lost without you. Can feel the same. Thunder's about to.
It's doing a good job controlling the dynamics of my song, and well, I'm not going to extreme, but let's go extreme so we can hear how this works.
I'm lost without you. Can feel the same. Thunder's about to. Disintegrate my fate. I'm lost without you.
And I must say, it's a really subtle compressor. It's not squashing too much of the signal, it's not introducing distortion, and it's keeping things under control, but of course, you could hear that it was taking away all the dynamics of my song. But honestly, for this song, I don't think I'm going to use this compressor, but it's a good option to have a compressor before a limiting stage. So let's go to the limiter. Slate Digital states that this is an intelligent processor that will decide if add saturation or limiting to the signal depending on the frequencies. And I guess that's saturation in terms of a clipper, but that's me guessing. Let's listen if that's actually the case and how that changes the flavor of the song. So let's start changing some parameters. I'm going to put the ceiling on -1 dB, and let's start adding gain before going to everything else.
I'm lost without you. Can feel the same. Thunder's about to. Disintegrate my fate.
I forget to do something important. I want true peak limiting, so you can activate it just by clicking here. And now you will see that we are going to stay in -1.
I'm lost without you. Can feel the same. Thunder's about to. Disintegrate.
I went extreme again, so we can listen how this is working, and I must say I'm pretty impressed on how clean this limiting is. We were on -6 LUFS, and we get just a bit of distortion. Of course, that's because we are on the clear mode, but this also speaks on how transparent this limiter can be. Of course, I was again destroying the dynamics, but it's nice to be able to increase the input gain of a limiter without adding distortion, so you can keep a clean master if that's what you want.
I'm lost without you. Can feel.
You also have constant gain monitoring, which is auto gain compensation, so you don't fool yourself that it's sounding good just because it's louder.
I'm lost without you. Can feel the same.
But of course, if you go extreme, it's going to feel so much quieter that I suggest that you also put something like a volume tool after this, only for checking. You have to remember to take this off before exporting your master.
I'm lost without you. Can feel the same. Thunder's about to. Disintegrate my fate.
So let's check other modes. The tight mode says is transparent but a little bit more compact. The punchy mode is loud and dynamic, and the loud mode is maximum loudness, and I'm guessing this also increases the distortion. So let's listen to that.
I'm lost without you. Can feel the same. Thunder's about to. Disintegrate my fate. I'm lost without you. Thunder's about to. I'm lost without you. Can feel the same. Thunder.
Okay, as you could hear, the loud mode lets you go even higher in loudness. We were reaching -4 LUFS. And not only that, we also added a lot of distortion. So the names are really suggestive on what they do. And I think I like the punchy mode for this master right here, but I'm not going to go extreme with it. I'm just going to keep it like here because I'm aiming to something like -9 LUFS.
I'm lost without you. Can feel the same. Thunder's about to disintegrate.
So that's the limiting, works really nice, it's transparent and you have different modes to choose the flavor you want. But let's check these other parameters we can change. For example, we can add low punch and high punch, and this is focused only on the transients, which can compensate the transients that you lose when limiting or clipping, so you can add them a little bit back.
I'm lost without you. Can feel the same. Thunder's about to disintegrate my fate. I'm lost without you. Thunder.
And this is a good option, I think is working pretty nice, because that way you can limit your song without losing the punchiness that you achieve on the mixing stages. You can also increase or decrease the focus on the transients. You can add some drive, which obviously adds more saturation to the signal, and you can change the balance. You can prioritize the lows or the highs for the limiting stages.
I'm lost without you. Can feel the same. Thunder's about to disintegrate my fate. I'm lost without you. Thunder's about to. I'm lost without you. Can feel the same.
And finally, you have things right here. You can activate the dithering, choose the bitrate and the shaping mode. And you can listen to how the limiter is affecting your sound on different ways. You can listen only to the mids, only the sides, the left and the rights.
I'm lost without you. Can feel the same. Thunder's about to disintegrate my fate.
Not only that, you can hear the difference. That means you can hear only to the signal that is being limited, so you know what you are taking off your song. It sounds mostly like crackles because, well, a limiter is going to affect mostly the transients of any sound. And that's everything that this FGX2 is offering. Is it as good as they are marketing it? I think yes, it's pretty damn good. I don't know if it's the best limiter in the world. I know that there are many options and I have my own loved limiters, but I'm going to keep experimenting with this one a little bit, and who knows, it may replace my go-to limiting. It's transparent, you can shape carefully the transients and the punch of your song, and it adds nice distortion if that's what you want. And finally, the visualizer is really good. It's something that will help you to get the limiting that you want. And the good thing, of course, is that this is part of the All Access Pass. So you don't have to pay more that you're already paying for that subscription model that, if you ask me, is one of the few subscription models that are really worth it. But I may do a video about subscription models in the future. For now, I'm going to leave you. Please let me know in the comments what do you think about these new plugins, try them out, and of course, give a like to the video and subscribe to the channel. I will see you next time. Bye bye.